Hi, welcome to Azure Data Factory lecture series. In this video, we will learn how to migrate data from Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 from another Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container. So we can use copy activity in ADF while migration of this dataset. Here you can see on the left hand side I have so many files, so many dataset. This might be structured dataset, this might be mm, any image, or this might be any blob storage, right? Or it might be any text file, CSV, and I want to move this data from this location, this data lake storage, to the another data lake storage. So this is the entirely different location in my cloud storage. So in order to perform this activity, I'll be using ADF. So in copy data activity inside the ADF. So this pipeline activity will perform according to the same orchestration. So ADF will play as an orchestration, and I'm going to show this diagram which is moving data set, which is table or file, and it's going to consume or produces, and it's going to perform the activity, and this activity is just calling this pipeline. So this is the automate process, and we can move our data from one location to another location. So I'm going to show the hands-on practice of the same. Let's practice for the same. All right, as you can see, this is my copy data activity, and this is going to copy ADLS to another ADLS. So I'm going to show this bottom part. Here you can see this is the output of my data set. This is the success now, and I can see this is the storage. This is the movement from one location to the another location. So I'm going to copy this data from one location to the another location. All right. So allow me to show the data set in the container. So this was the container source, and I'm going to copy this Titanic data set. If I open this data set in the next tab, you can see this is the edit option, and here I can see the relevant data set. So Titanic data set is showing in the source folder. If I go to the sync folder, it's just copied my data set from source to sync because my copy activity was successfully done. So I can see this is showing the respective data set. So my objective is to perform this activity. So let me show this data set in the CSV file as well. So here I have this CSV file, which is consisting the name, P class, age, gender, survived. So I can see this is very huge data set, and in CSV format, structured data set. So I'm going to close this part so that I can see the data migration orchestration. Here you can see this is the same data set which were looking in the CSV file, Excel file. Okay, let's move ahead. So here we have the Azure Data Factory, and I'm going to show the very initial step. So I'm going to start all my services from the scratch, how to perform this activity. So I'm going to create a resource. For this resource, you can choose the Azure Data Factory from here, or just simply type data factories. Can you see this is showing here? Or you can choose from the recent used resources. So I'll click on this factories. This is my old ADF test Sachin 01. So I'm going to create the next data factory. So if it is free, if your subscription is freely available, so you can choose that free option. I'm going to select my paid subscription. So I'm going to select the resource group. It is not available, so I'll have to create that one. So I'm going to create the resource group. So this is the resource test 2. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to name my data factory. So I'm going to create data factory test 2. So the region would be nearest central India. If it is already taken, so you can add your name Sachin, and do not give this name because this is the like non-conventional method. There are certain conventional method nomenclature to provide the instances name, project details, data factory name, and everything. Kindly follow this pattern. So I'm just using this for as of now. I'm using this name. So I'm going to click on next. Click next. So I do not need any git configuration. I do not need to change anything inside the networking, advanced, tech, create, review, and create. So I'm going to create that part here. So here you can see it's going to create. So it will take few seconds. Here you can see my ADF is just completed. I can click on go to resources. It will open in a new tab. I can launch my studio. It will open in new tab as well. So I can close my other tabs, which is consisting all ADF resources. All right. So I'm going to leave this part. So this is my ADF orchestration tool, Data Factory Search and Test tool, right? What other things I need to create? I need to create data storage. So I'm going to create a storage account. So this was the storage test one sink, storage test one source. So I'm going to create two more storage. One is from source, one is for sink. So this test resource test 2, I'm going to use this one, and storage account. So I'm going to use storage account, and here I'm going to use test 2. All right, or if it is already there, storage count searching. All right, so I can click on the next, and make sure you are checking clicking on this checkbox, because this is the data lake gen 2. So AD data lake gen storage gen 2, your objective is to create ADL. So I'm going to click on next. I do not want to change any other settings here. So I'm just clicking next, next, review, and create. So it will take again few seconds. Meanwhile, you can create your next storage for sync storage. So I'm going to click on home again, and repeating the same process. So I'm going to click on storage account, clicking create, selecting my source test 2, source storage test section test 2, choosing the same region, Central India. Then click on next. Make sure I'm checking box this again in order to make it data lake storage in 2. Click next, 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 review, and create eventually. So I just created the second storage for my sync, where I deport my CSV file. Here you can see my first storage is already created, source storage. So I'm going to click OK, and this I'm going to create the name. So this container will be source test 2. So I'm going to click here. All right. So inside this source test 2, I'm going to create new directory. So I'm going to create source directory test 2. So this would be the test 2 here. So I'm going to click save. Inside this directory, because this is the source directory, so I must have the data set. So I'm going to upload my CSV file. So this I'm going to browse here, go to the next, navigate this Titanic data set, and I think I uploaded the wrong file. There are two Titanic data set. This one is the actual data set. I'm going to upload the CSV. If you want to show, or you want to uh, see the preview of this data set, you can go here and you can see this name, P class, A, sex, survived, everything is showing here. So that's it. This first part is done. You have just uploaded the data in your source storage. Now, what is the sync? So here is the second storage. So I'm going to create the container. I'm going to name it sync container test 2. So I'm going to create it. Now inside this sync, I'm going to add a directory. I'm going to name it directory sync test 2. So I'm going to save it. Inside this folder or directory, my Titanic file must be copied. It must be pasted. Sorry, not copied, must be pasted here. My objective is to move from this source directory and the storage account ADLS to this next location, to the next location. So what I'll do, I'll come back here, I'll create the author option in my ADF orchestration. I'll create the data set here first. So I'm going to create new data set so that I can create the pipeline for this. I can integrate this data set in during my pipeline activity. So I'm going to create a ADLS gen 2 because my data set is of CSV file. So I'm going CSV format. So I'm going to click this text. So I'm going to click continue, name it data set source test 2 link service. If you do not have any link service, you will have to create new service. So I'm going to create link service underscore um, source underscore test 2, and I'm going to select keep all the settings as usual. So I'm going to create, so this would be using my auto resolve integration runtime because it's moving inside the Azure resources to the inside Azure resources. The aim or the source and goal is inside the Azure itself. This is reason I'm going to use auto resolve. If it is on in premises, so I would have created another resources for this. So I'm going to connect via integration runtime, which is auto resolve time. So I'm going to create the Azure subscription. So this is my current subscription. I'm going to select this one. So here is the storage, 4 storage. So make sure you are selecting the correct storage. So let's see. This one is the source storage. So this one is the source storage. What is the name of this storage? Let's say go to resource. Can you see storage account Sachin test 2? So I'm going to click this one. Storage account, this one. This one is the source amount. So I'm going to create to link service, not to path file path. I'm going to create to link service. Just creating and going to browse. So it must show the same file directory and so on. Here you can see it's showing the source test 2. If I move here, if I go to the container, this is showing source test 2. In the same format, I'm finding this source test 2 container. So if I go here, this is source directory test 2. So if I go here inside this test 2, it's showing source directory test 2. So I'm going to select this, going dive into this directory. This is finding Titanic CSV. So if I go inside this directory, I will find titanic.csv file. So I'm going to select this part, click OK. Here you can see it's automatically taking the file name and the directory followed by CSV. So this is the file path. So here you can see first one is the container name, second one is the file path, third one is the file name, which I want to copy from one location to the another. So I'm going to click OK here. Here you can see this is just prepare your first data set inside the orchestration. I'm going to create new data set. This would be the ADLS Gen 2 again. So this is the CSV file. Click OK, and I'm going to create, name it dataset sync test 2. So I'm going to select. Here you must choose or you must create another link service. Why? Because if you will choose the same link service, it will ask the same storage, same directory, same container. So I'm not going to select the source path, but my destination is entirely different. So I'm going to click new. So here I'm going to use the ls underscore sync underscore test 2, and I'm going to select auto resolve one more time, and I'm going to select Azure subscription here, select my paid subscription, select storage account. Make sure you are selecting the correct selecting storage here, storage account. Here I can see the sync container test 2. So I'm going to select the storage account. So this is the sync storage. Okay, so okay, okay. So this is different name. So if you go to the storage, can you see storage test Sachin? If you go to the so storage test Sachin test 2. So if you select this part, can you see this is the sync part? So I'm going to create this one. If you open this, if you browse this one, this is showing the sync container test 2. Here you can see the sync container test 2 container. Here is the directory. If you click on this container, you will find the same directories. Directory sync test 2. Directory sync test 2. If I click on this directory test 2, I'll find nothing here because it didn't paste anything here. So I'm going to click OK here and click OK again, and this would be this destination. Now this part is done. I have created source and destination dataset. Now I'm going to create pipeline here. So this is the pipeline. So I want to perform copy activity. So I'm going to use this copied activity here. So name it something. For example, pipeline ADLS to ADLS. So I'm going to click this one. Inside the source, I'm going to select this, not this thing, rather source test 2. Here you can see preview data set is showing all the respective rows and column. It's showing first 10 records, which is validating that you have selected the correct data set or your source is entirely fit and fine. You can go to the sync. Do not change other settings because we are not going to change the other settings now. I'm going to perform the sync part here. This is the sync part. I'm going to perform the sync here because this is the destination part. If you want to map, so definitely you can map here. You just import a schema. This step is necessary because if you have any date time column, if you have any character string, float, or any transformation kind of columns or data type, so you will have to make changes the data type here. You can create the destination file. You can make the change of type at the destination part as well. So if you find that source and destination is entirely perfect, they are showing the correct data type, so our none array is showing here, so you can move to the settings. You do not change anything here. User properties, click OK. So this is just set up your pipeline here. You can debug. Before debug, you must publish everything here because I by mistake I click on debug, but I must have click on publish all first. Reason being, if you do not on publish, you do not click on publish all button, which is here at the top, all these resources won't save in your orchestration ADF. If you want to save everything, every resources here, you will have to publish first and foremost. Here you can see this is succeed now. So if I want to show the details, so it is showing the succeed perfectly. If I want to show the output here, so this is showing the correct output here, right? Now let's see, go to the sync. If I click on this sync part, can you see it's showing the Titanic text, right? If I click on this part, click on edit, can you see it's showing the file successfully? It's showing all the data sets successfully, which is the destination here. One mistake we have done earlier. What is the mistake here? If you click on this copy data set, go to the source or sync. Can you see at the bottom type, here is the file extension .txt, which is the region. Here we can see the Titanic.txt file. I want to make changes here. So what I'll do, I'll make this CSV file here, and that's it, and publish all, which we didn't click earlier. So I'm going to click publish, which is the correct, which is going to save everything or if any wrong pipeline or a connection is failed, it will show the same file here. Can you see at the right top, it's just completed publishing successfully. I click on this copy data set, click debug, and it will take few seconds to publish my or to run my pipeline. Once it is successfully, then I can recheck my destination whether this text file is replaced by CSV file or not. All right. If it is not, so definitely there will be another file with the name of titanic.csv. So you can see this is showing the success here, and I can see, or I can close this tab and I can refresh my file. Can you see this is another file showing here? So titanic.csv file is just showing here. If you edit this one, this is showing the same part, right? One more thing I can do here, I can click on this file, click on this one, and I can go with this property, copy behavior, and I can go with the source, and I'll explain all these folders, all these settings in the next lecture in another video, because these are having different illustration. So I'm going to copy, so preview data, reset, you can see everything is fine here. Setting, so degree, copy parallelism, data consisting verification, and everything showing here. User properties, and everything is just looking fine. So you can see this is just copied my another file in the format of CSV. If I open this CSV file, you can see the same text or same rows and columns are showing here. This is how you can move your data from one ADLS to another DLS. There are another pipeline, another files. You can go here. Just make sure you are doing the correct format. Thank you so much. Do not forget to delete all the resources. How to delete all the resources? You just go here, go to the portal.azure home tab. Here you can see all the, here you will find all the resources. Here can you see all the resources here. By going through one process, you can click on resource type test1, resource test2. You just click on this one, open this in new tab, and you will find delete resource group at the top. So can you see this delete resource group is here? You can select all the resources from here, or simply click on this delete resource group. It will ask to resource copy this clipboard. It will click on this one. So this is just going to delete. I'm not going to delete this resource group because I'm not because I need some another task for this one. You can go here, and please do delete all the resources, because it will incur your billing in the next month. And or if you have the free subscription, so it will consume your free services, free subscription, free dollar amount as well. So kindly do delete all the resources. Keep in mind. Thank you so much for joining here. Thank you.